right, everybody. Michael Cohen back here with you on the Sports Talk Nation. What is a day in baseball in New York without a little bit of controversy, right? And that's what we have right now as comments from Juan Soto have stirred things up between the Mets and the Yankees, at least Met fans and Yankee fans anyway, not necessarily the organizations. So let's get right into this. This is all about a quote that Soto gave to the New York Post in an exclusive about how about his start in his transition from the Yankees last year to the Mets this year. And one thing that he did say, that is the quote that is taken off, is, quote unquote, "It's definitely different. I had the best hitter in baseball hitting behind me. I was getting more attacked and more pitches in the strike zone, less intentional walks and things like that. I was pitched differently last year." And that quote has taken off, with Met fans going off the rails saying, oh my goodness, he's throwing Pete Alonso under the bus. And, of course, Yankee fans sitting there and possibly laughing at Juan Soto for making the decision to come over to Queens instead of staying in the Bronx. So let's just pump the brakes on all of this. There's not much going on here, folks. There really isn't. This is a big-time nothing burger because, let's just be fair, okay? The quote by Soto is just an honest quote about how he has gotten off to a sluggish start here in 2025. And when you think about it, he isn't wrong in anything he said. Aaron Judge is absolutely the best player of his generation, maybe the best hitter in baseball outside of Shohei Ohtani. The man has hit 50-plus home runs in 3 of his seasons. He had 62 home runs just a couple of years ago. He is the most dangerous hitter in that Yankee lineup. So, yes, Juan Soto did see a lot of pitches last year and got attacked a lot more in the strike zone last year than he is right now. And it's not a knock on Pete Alonso, because if you compare Alonso to Judge, it's no comparison. Judge is historically a better hitter, better average hitter, 289 career average to Alonso's 250. The home runs I just mentioned, number of years with 50-plus home runs. Much more dangerous hitter. Now, Alonso, of course, is a dangerous hitter in his own right, but I think teams coming into this year underestimated Pete Alonso coming in. We see the kind of start that he has had so far this year, and lo and behold, the last couple of days, Juan Soto's now getting pitches to hit because people see that Pete Alonso right now, coming into the series against the Minnesota Twins, was hitting at 345, 4 home runs, 19 RBIs, and they're saying, look, we can't just pitch around Juan Soto. We got to try to attack him, get him out. And as a result, Juan Soto, the last 2 games now, on Monday and Tuesday, has hit home runs for the New York Mets. In fact, on Tuesday, both Soto and Alonso went yard. Both of them hit home runs in that game, even though it looks like it's going to be a defeat, a 6-3 loss to the Twins. Both Alonso and Soto went yard. So I think a lot of this is just chatter, just something people want to talk about on a Tuesday morning and a Tuesday afternoon, now going into a Wednesday. There's really nothing to it. And let's be fair, also keep in mind, Juan Soto, if you listen to the reports, Andy Martino's report on SNY, Juan Soto's the guy that went to Steve Cohen and said, bring Pete Alonso back here. He wanted Pete Alonso back here with the Mets when his free agency was up in limbo. And Soto said so many great things about Alonso already going just earlier this year when Soto was asked about having Pete Alonso batting behind him. And in regards to his own struggles with Alonso hitting well and Soto not hitting well, Soto said this: whenever they don't want to pitch to me, I know I have a guy behind me that can make it worse for them, so I'm happy about that. He has been complimentary about Pete Alonso all this time. So this idea that he's throwing Alonso to the bus, not necessarily. I think it's more of a self-criticism of himself, saying, you know what, I had a guy who was an MVP the year before I got there to the Bronx in Aaron Judge, a guy who has been multiple All-Star games, is now the captain on Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. Yeah, they were going to pitch to me a lot, and they were going to throw me pitches that I could hit. And if you take a look at the stats last year in April, Soto hit .291, had 7 home runs, 21 RBIs, while Judge struggled at the start of April. When it was all said and done, Aaron Judge had better numbers, 58 home runs, 144 RBIs, to the numbers that Soto put up, and he didn't do too shabbily, of course, hitting more than 40 home runs last year with the Yankees. But who's to say that Juan Soto and Pete Alonso can't do that here in New York? Who's to say that should Pete Alonso go into a slump, that Juan Soto doesn't pick him up and pick this team up? Because before this quote ever came out, and it was an ill-timed quote or maybe an ill-worded quote, nobody was really saying much about Juan Soto other than seems like he's pressing too much. And that was kind of the impression that we had in the first couple of weeks of the season. So I think this quote is being blown out of proportions. Aaron Judge even asked about it himself. He said, let's see here, Judge says, I'm not really going to go back and forth on this. He's got probably one of the best hitters in the game right behind him now in Pete Alonso. It has been fun to watch. He's hitting close to 400. He's driving the ball all over the field, driving guys in, so they're going to be good. That's that. Of course, Judge had nothing to say because there is nothing to say. It's a non-story and a non-quote. So let's move on and just accept it. Accept the fact that we have three of the best hitters in baseball in this town. One in the Bronx and Judge, and of course two now in Queens with both Alonso and Juan Soto. Like and subscribe. We'll talk to you next time.